Alrighty guys, it's the last couple of weeks of the year. You know I have a goal to get the four-wheel drive drag truck fired up before the end of December. We have a lot left to do, and I don't even have to drive it. I just want to be able to turn the key and hear that engine run. So today, it's all about wiring. So let's jump right in and get dirty. All right, first thing we're gonna get started with is wiring. I have relocated the harness. If you're familiar with these trucks, you know it comes straight from here, kind of goes right across and then over to everything, you know, injectors this side, that side, transmission down below. We're gonna twin turbo this thing. I wanna keep this, I'm calling it a corridor. I wanna keep this corridor empty, which that means drastically relocating a lot of stuff. So as you can see, I have the harness kind of going back. It's gonna go underneath the brake booster. I'm gonna come up with something to tie it up down there. It goes on the firewall. I've put some threaded inserts in. You can see one there and one there. But in order to make the wire take that path, it's a lot of work. Over here, everything already lines up. Don't have to change a whole lot, but pretty much everything on this bank and where the wire harness goes down underneath has to be lengthened. So we've already got a head start on it. Injectors have been already lengthened and installed on this side, which that's not a big deal because we have to change the harness for these injectors anyway. So we're going to jump right in. I have left in that branch, I have to do the map sensor. I have to do, sorry, not the map sensor. I have to do the cam position sensor. We need to extend that down to my double zip tie mark here. And then on that side, I do actually have to extend the map, but everything else is fine. So I'll just kind of show you once and then we'll fast forward through because wiring is boring, both to do and to watch. So really the only advice I could give for tackling a wire project like this is take your time, be patient, don't rush, and try to stay organized. Like for example here, I got a whole bunch of wire, but I couldn't get exactly all the same colors, so I'm making notes about injector 1, 2, or 1, 3, 5, and 7, about what wire color they connect to in case I have to do any future diagnosis. Everything is getting crimped and heat shrunk. No soldering in here. We don't like soldering in an automotive harness. And then just do as neat a job as we can. So these three are from the cam position. I already pulled them from the back of the harness that normally went down there. Remember Gen 4 block, front timing cover with the cam sensor. So they need to be extended about, I don't know, 2 more feet. I'm trying to meet or exceed the OEM wire dimensions. So I don't know what it translates to in gauges, but this is like 28 thousandths of an inch thick. This is 20 gauge wire that measures like 35, so it's just a little bigger. For crimps, I'm using these guys here. I'm almost out. Got some more on the way. But it's a closed barrel crimp. And it may be a bit redundant and overkill, but I've been doing double heat shrink. Take like a short section, just barely cover up the crimp area. And then take a longer piece, same size, and cover that up. That way, if there's any abrasion in this harness, which there shouldn't be because I try to put most of my crimps in like straight sections, but if there's any abrasion, it shouldn't rub through. And I do burn a lot of zip ties on projects like this because I'm constantly adding new circuits in and then using zip ties to kind of keep it all organized. When we're all done, for good, we'll use some of that good high temperature Tessa tape, which is cloth and looks really pretty. I am going to give you the coolest Christmas present that you have ever received in your life. I am giving away the 2nd Gen Cyclone. It's an LS swapped, supercharged, all-wheel drive mini truck that is a ton of fun. Makes about 600 horsepower. It'll run 11 seconds in the quarter mile. It's bright red. You guys have seen me build it on the channel over the last year and a half or so. We are giving it away. I couldn't think of what I wanted to do to it next, so I'm giving it away to one of you guys. Here's the deal. Because it's Christmas, it's the last week of the giveaway, we are now offering a 2x entry bonus for the final week, the whole last week of the sweepstakes, from today, the 14th of December, to next Sunday, the 21st, when the sweepstakes ends. Every $5 that you spend at TolmanPerformance.com is going to get you not 1, but 2 entries into the 2nd Gen Cyclone sweepstakes. Now, we got a whole bunch of stuff on our website. We have some t-shirts, we have some hats, we have koozies, hoodies, posters. We got a whole bunch of cool stuff for you. Go on and check it out. Read the official rules on our website as well. Like I said though, every $5 is 2 entries to win whole last week. And that best kept secret, the quick entry feature, that's actually a 4x entry bonus for the whole last week. So get entered to win, guys, because Christmas is right around the corner, and one of you, yeah, clumsy, one of you is going to take this truck home for the holidays. All right, still waiting on some butt connectors, but I wanted to get going on the chassis harness, which is almost done. Modified it some time ago. Before I wrap this one though, I'm gonna run 2 lengths of 10 gauge front to back and just leave like 2 feet coiled up on either end for future fuel pumps. I wanna make sure we have plenty of current available back there. And this way they'll just all be tucked nicely away. I'll have enough length I can build a relay block up front, have the pumps out back wherever I want them. Okay, it's Wednesday. The mantra for this year is do one thing every day. I didn't get a lot of time in the shop. Rick was out, so I spent most of my time today running the front of the house, but I did get a little bit of time to finish up just a few odds and ends. So here's my report. We have the power steering hoses now officially built. I was waiting on the 120-degree fitting there and the adapters to go to the 6AN out of the low pressure return. You can see that there. And then we have the hoses routed all neatly. I'm kind of wondering, these 3 right here, I'm kind of wondering how the inner fender liner is going to work because I still want to run some sort of a fender liner. Anyway, yesterday for wiring, I got some more progress made over here. I think I already mentioned I added the injector ends. I have the cam sensor extended. That's terminated now. I ran out of butt connectors. I think I showed you the type I used, but I ran out of butt connectors before I could finish the coil extension. But we're going to run that down here also. And then I went ahead and I got rid of most of my zip ties and I just kind of started taping. So this sort of locks in the routing of the harness. Over here, I did a little bit We still have to do all the injector swap over, or the pigtail swap over, but I did have enough butt connector, excuse me, to get the map sensor extended, because I hated before how it would kind of come across the top. So we ran it in this branch, comes up, and whoa, one thing I did learn, by the way, the early Gen 4 truck motors like this use a Gen 3 style map sensor, which not a big deal, but to get the LS9 map sensor to work whenever we turbocharge this thing, I did find on eBay today a really cool billet aluminum adapter. So I'll show you that whenever it shows up. We'll have to repin the harness again to do the LS9 map sensor, but for now, just start it up naturally aspirated. No reason we can't use that map sensor right there, because it's already in. So that's my report card for the day. Next up, we have the transfer case harness. I bought this out of a junkyard. It's for a 263 HD case instead of the AutoTrack case the truck originally had. It was covered in oil, so we stripped off the harness, and I'm glad we did, because if you can see that brown and white wire right there, it has rubbed through almost, or actually to the point of not working anymore. So we will fix that up. That was a lucky catch. Just kind of strip it back, put another little crimp in like we've been doing. Because I have a feeling four-wheel drive on this truck is going to be interesting to get working. Just because we're switching everything over. So I gotta tell you guys, this is like one of the biggest challenges of this whole wiring project is just remembering where everything went, because this is like Grand Central Terminal for the whole truck. Everything plugs in to this spot. Dash harness, engine harness, front light harness, rear chassis harness, four-wheel drive harness, everything connects here. And everything has a home, theoretically, but I took this apart 2 years ago, and so I tried to remember where everything goes, because I'm a stickler. I want it to be in exactly the same position and routing as it was from the factory. And I think we got it, mostly. Come on, get in there. All right, finally got my shipment of connectors that I was waiting on. Gonna get the coil harness extended. That'll finish up the driver's side. When I started the wiring portion of this project, I knew it was gonna take a lot of time, but I don't know that I could have actually guessed how many hours this has taken, because I think we're going on our second week of wiring. But the thing is, we have changed a ton. Pretty much every major part of this truck has been changed from how it would have been from the factory. And every single one of those changes is going to require a change to the wiring. We went from a 4L60 to a 4L80 transmission, a bunch of wiring changes there. We went from an NP 246 AutoTrack to a 263 non-AutoTrack electric transfer case. Bunch of changes there. We added electric fans. We went from a Gen 3 to a Gen 4 engine, whole bunch of changes there. And then the big one is just moving the engine harness kind of out of the way to accommodate for the future twin turbos. And I got to admit, when I started off this week, started moving stuff around in the engine bay harness, I was really worried that it was going to look awful, just because, you know, I want my wiring to be clean and organized and neat and make sense, and of course be out of the way. But now that it's kind of coming together, I got to admit, I'm relieved. I'm very happy with how it's turning out. And it kind of makes sense. I mean, we have 3 branches now. We have one main branch for the driver's side. It goes down and along the bottom of the oil pan. We have one main branch for the passenger side and a third main branch that goes down above the transmission for transmission and other related stuff. This corner here, this was a lot of work, and I know it kind of looks chaotic right now, but everything is routed in a factory way, and once the cover goes on the fuse block, this looks so much better. Of course, we are going to do a final wrap on the wiring, but I want to start the truck up first just to make sure we don't have to do any troubleshooting. Up above here, everything's pretty much done except for the throttle body connector. I'm waiting on a pigtail for that one. Mass air meter, we have that connected for now, but as soon as we go turbo, we're going to lose the mass air and just go speed density. So I'll just take 2 of these wires and put them in here for the inlet air temp. But that's why I relocated this branch, because normally that one runs over here. So that's ready. A couple little changes underneath. The transfer case harness, 100% ready. The chassis harness is we're like 90% on that one. Everything's kind of routed along the bottom of the frame rail down there, comes out here. And I still have to do a little bit of tidying up. I have to make the final terminations to the in-tank fuel pump. I'll coil up this extra heavy gauge wire and I'll kind of wrap it, keep it out of the way. A little bit of cleaning up. I got to make some ground points back here, but we are so very close. We have electricity now running to the back of the truck, which means we are almost ready to fire this thing up, which is huge because going back to the time when I first bought the frame for this truck, that was in 2022. 3 years and a couple of months, this project kind of was conceptualized, and now before the end of 2025, we are going to hear it run, I hope. And I'm pretty confident that we will. We're so stinking close, which is perfect because if we get it started up next week, that's also next week, the 21st of December, is the end of the 2nd Gen Cyclone sweepstakes, which means one of you is going to win this truck for Christmas. Don't forget, we also are in the final week, which is a 2x multiplier period. So every $5 that you spend at TolmanPerformance.com is going to get you not 1, but 2 entries into the sweepstakes. And that goes for everything. And we have hats and hoodies and t-shirts and a couple of mugs, koozies, things like that. The quick entry feature is a 4x multiplier during these periods. So that's your best shot of winning. And as much as I hate to say it, we're not even like halfway to the number of people who entered compared to the ugly trucks. So your odds are pretty dang good. It's a fun truck, supercharged, LS swapped, all-wheel drive, ton of hours went into this thing, and it can be yours for Christmas. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Come back next time to see us fire up the 4-wheel drive drag truck.